Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for the invitation made by the Institute for Sustainable Development and the Global Research and Development Business Center, both from the Seoul National University, and the sponsorship of the Ministry of Science and ICT of the Republic of Korea. We reaffirm our commitment to contribute in this space with a view to the future from the experience of the agriculture sector in the American continent, which is the motive and reason in the search for a technical cooperation of excellence through the promotion of innovation. As a brief introduction, let me remind you the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation of Agriculture, IICA, is an international cooperation agency born 79 years ago that from the Americas look and interact with the rest of the world, promoting the sustainable transformation of agri-food systems. From now on, and in the next 20 minutes, I will try to deliver 10 messages about the situation and perspectives with a focus on Latino American and Caribbean agriculture. I will refer to this as the LAC region. Message number one. With about 630 million inhabitants and more of 20 million of square kilometers, LAC is a highly diverse and heterogeneous region from an economic, social, political, and environmental point of view, marked by its broad natural resource base, composed by middle-income countries, growing urbanization, a high component of young population, and high inequality. But on the positive side, LAC is a region with great biological richness. It contains 8 out of the 15 most megadiverse countries in the world, but also availability of land and soil representing 30% of worldwide reserves. This is one of the reasons to be called a major player in responding to new demands from promoting global food and nutrition security. Almost 20% of the whole population still live in rural areas, hovering 123 million inhabitants, and in which 24% is represented by young people. As a second message, agriculture in LAC has played a historical leading role, not only economically, but also socially and environmentally, generating a large part of production, employment, trade, and foreign exchange. In the last 30 years, LAC agriculture has made significant contribution to economic growth and employment. In effect, the increase in productivity explained more than 70% of the increase in agriculture production in the region. These advances have allowed agriculture today to be the engine for economic growth, equivalent to 4.7% of GDP, job creation, 14% of total jobs, and the generation of foreign exchange, with export value representing $138 billion. As a third message, although they share similarities, agriculture in LAC is not homogeneous. There are many types of agriculture in the region, all with potentialities and challenges to be solved. The great diversity of climates, topography, culture, and biodiversity that exist in the region allows the development of different productive systems in LAC. There is no one agriculture model representing this continent. In fact, coexist in the region large food producing and exporting countries, such as Brazil leading the Mercosur region, a country that exports $8 for every dollar imported, along with other countries that are highly dependent on imports, as is the case of Eastern Caribbean states, mainly represented by Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Haiti. Based upon a food vulnerability index elaborated by IICA, there are countries that fight against hunger and malnutrition, such as the case of Haiti and Venezuela, with others where undernourishment is less than 5% of the population, such as the case of Uruguay and Chile. But at the same time, we have an increasing amount of countries with high levels of obesity. For example, in Argentina, the Bahamas, Chile, Mexico, the Dominican Republic, and/or Uruguay, with overweight in adults is close to 30% of the population. In LAC, there are around 16.5 million agriculture holdings, of which about 80% are family farmers, generating employment for more than 60 million workers, who, despite contributing to food systems with a diverse offer of food, they face important challenges such as limitations to access financial services, education, and technology. As a message number 4, I would like to underscore that LAC has been one of the regions most impacted by COVID, plunging it into a health, economic, and social crisis. Even though our continent is home to only 8% of the world's population, it has been one of the most affected by pandemic, with 30% of deaths associated with COVID-19. Also, despite substantial efforts made by government, the region's GDP declined by approximately 8% in 2020, compared to a decrease of less than 4% at worldwide level. In addition to the drop in GDP, the region is experiencing more poverty and food security, mainly due to a problem of food access. By June 2020, 40% of the poorest households had experienced hunger, and almost 50% were changing their consumption towards less healthy diets. With such a negative panorama, agriculture in LAC has showed its resilience, being able to provide enough food for the population, and at the same time was the only sector that increased its market share at international level. As the lesson number 5, the historical challenges plus the new ones imposed by COVID demand that agriculture go further and deepens its transformation process. It is imperative to increase its efficiency, generate more jobs and income, contribute to a greater extent to health and nutrition, and support environment objectives, and the fight against climate change is what we call as Smart Agriculture 4.0. This knowledge-intensive agriculture should have to be based around 5 areas. The area number 1, climate-smart agriculture, allied with care and preservation of natural resources and the environment, which takes advantage of good agriculture practices, innovation, and technologies to improve productivity and income while reducing the impact on the environment. The second area is nutrition-smart agriculture that fosters positive impact on nutrition and health while generating economic benefits for producers. The best known example is biofortified foods. Intelligent value addition is the third area, evolving towards the transformation of residual biomass, taking advantage of waste and residues for the generation of bioenergy and all types of biomaterials. In this regard, bioeconomy based in the principle of circular economy is going to play a crucial role. Also, market-driven agriculture that must take into account new demands and changes in international markets, promoting at the same time more regional trade and integration. And last but not least, socially responsible agriculture, transforming rural areas into spaces for opportunities, employment generation, and wealth. This will require the inclusion of all social actors, mainly women and young. According to some statistics, 56% 6% of workers in rural areas work in conditions of vulnerability and informality. The good news is that today we are before a new frontier of knowledge, technologies, and innovations that would allow our agriculture to be more efficient and sustainable, and to value in a sustainable way the biological and natural wealth present in this region. Disruptive advances in the fields of biology, chemistry, physics, informatics, and electronics offer an increasing amount of knowledge and technologies that is setting the basis of a much more smarter agriculture. This new agriculture derives from the possibility of making more intelligent monitoring, prediction, planning, decisions, operations, and controls on real time and with more precision. Smart agriculture, due to the intensive and responsible use of new technologies, allows us to cope the great challenges that humanity poses to agri-food systems. Knowledge and new technology, especially digital ones, are an essential pillar to achieve more productive, sustainable, and inclusive agri-food systems. We can make significant progress in the efficiency of environmental sustainability of agriculture through the reduction of food losses, which can reach up to 170 million tons per year in the region, or the use of residual biomass. New technologies essentially allow greater efficiency, producing more with less, but in a different way, reducing information asymmetries and transaction cost. As the message number 7, even though there are several cases in the region where technologies and innovation have made it possible to increase the profitability, competitiveness, and environmental sustainability of agriculture, they still represent low percentages of the total. LAC has emblematic cases of how technological innovations used responsibly contributed to increasing productivity, minimizing impacts on the environment. Zero tillage, especially disseminated in the case of the Mercosur countries and representing more than 40% of the agricultural land under this modality in the world. The availability of genetically modified crops that are resistant to certain herbicides with protection against certain pests is given the possibility of significantly increasing production while reducing the amount of phytosanitary products. Another example is the integration of forest, crop, and livestock that represent one of the most important technology promoted by Embrapa researchers in the search of sustainable farming. In general terms, the application of principles of ecology to the management of agricultural systems and the continuous generation of knowledge in this matter is undoubtedly a fundamental aspect to continue advancing in a more productive and sustainable systems. But in order to take full advantage of innovation for the establishment of the foundation of a new agriculture in the region, it is essential to strengthen science and technology national systems and building environments conducive to innovation. First of all, we have to be self-critical and recognize that we are not investing enough to keep up with the scientific and technological revolution occurring at the worldwide level. Besides investing more, it will be necessary to strengthen the institutionality of national systems, adjust the agenda of priorities, and to procure more involvement, especially from private actors. In this regard, the consolidation of innovation ecosystems is a fundamental aspect, not only to promote the development of solutions adapted to the context, which are useful to face the different challenges of food system, but also because companies with high scaling potential are formed, we generate quality employment. A recent study of the AgTech ecosystem in Argentina shows that on average, each startup employs 10 people, more than 80% university students, distributed in territories and with great export possibilities. The creation and strengthening of innovation ecosystems with joint work and co-development among scientists, technologists, and users will also contribute to accelerating the process of taking advantage of digital technologies. This is an indispensable point given that the digitization process of LAC agriculture is still slow and heterogeneous. How and why IICA is committed with science and technology for agriculture? As a matter of fact, IICA was born as a research teaching organization, afterwards evolving towards a technical cooperation agency. Let me give you a few examples. Nowadays, we are the Secretariat of Processur, which is a cooperative research program oriented to promote regional public goods, led by Southern National Research Institutes, plus IICA. Also, and jointly with IDB, we give support to Fontagro, which is a sustainable co-financing mechanism for the development of agriculture technology in LAC and Spain. We are also the Secretariat of Foragro, which is a hemispheric mechanism for the debate and mobilization of agreements or research and innovation issues that impact the agri-food sectors in the Americas. Also at IICA headquarters, we have launched the first interpretive center for tomorrow's agriculture with the support of Microsoft and Bayer and the first lab for agriculture. We are also promoting an interinstitutional and international alliances oriented to promote tropical agriculture in LAC. Finally, we are the leading institution in the field of digital agriculture and soil restoration in alliance with worldwide leaders and institutions. Before concluding, I would like to make a question. How can we build bridges between LAC and Korea to share technologies, innovations, good practices, and lessons learned that allow us to build these conditions in the region? The distance between South Korea and LAC is almost 14,000 kilometers. This is not an obstacle to strengthen relations under win-win principles and having as a shared objective the desire to promote prosperity to our people through agriculture and rural life. This is why we signed an MOU with the Global Research and Development Business Center of the Seoul National University, which clearly defines a route for the next 5 years. Jointly develop efforts for the implementation of innovative and urgent projects in the region, as we currently do regarding initiatives for green economic recovery in American countries. In the context of COVID-19 pandemic, that the Green Climate Fund recently approved for our institutions. Sunmai Kunapsnda, in Korean, that is to say many thanks to all of you.